Hi, I am working and I have an experience of 8 plus years. Today we will learn constructor, C# constructor. So what is constructor? Constructor is used to initialize object. It is called automatically whenever an instance of class is created. So move to Visual Studio and create a constructor. So I will create a new console application by clicking the Control Shift N button and then select console app.NET framework, give the name of project. I will give constructor, click OK. Now it will create a project with the name of constructor. You can see. Okay, now I will create our own class, public, and then class, name of class I will give class A. Okay. Now we will create a constructor. So name of constructor must be same as class name. So this time I have created a class, but I am not creating any method inside this class. Okay, I will create a constructor. So name of constructor will be same as class name. So create a constructor, use access modifier public, and then what is our class name? Class A, this one. Then open, and then open curly braces and closing curly braces. So we have created our constructor. So constructor. Okay, so the constructor name will be must be same as class name, first thing. Second, it does not have any return type, not even void. So if you see, it does not have any return type. For example, if I will give a return type, then this is not constructor, this is method. Then okay, this is method. So it does not have any return type, not even void. Okay, so use access modifier and then class name. So this is our constructor. A class can have multiple constructor. Yes, a class can have multiple constructor. We can create 10 more constructor. There is no limit. We can create more constructor. Okay, there is no limit, but we will see one by one. Okay, now we have created our constructor. It is called automatically whenever an instance of a class is created. Okay, so I am saying, okay, now inside this we will print a message so that we can see that it is calling or not. So hello, for example, class A constructor, anything we can write, hello class A constructor. Okay, so how it will executed? So when we create an instance of the class, it is called automatically whenever an instance of class is created. So I will create an instance of this class. So why I will create an instance of this class? Because this is non-static method. So I will create an instance of this class first. So class A is equal to new class A. Okay, in our previous chapter we have seen many times this line, means we have created so many times instance of any particular class. So what does it means? It means that we are calling a constructor. Okay, so now you'll look into this in few seconds how this is calling a constructor. Okay, so I have created an instance of this class. Okay, but I am not calling this constructor. So how it will call? It will call automatically because we have created a instance of class. So by the definition, it is called automatically whenever an instance of class is created. So we have created. So to hold this console screen, we will use console.readline. Okay, when I will click on start, it should print hello class A constructor. Click on start. So it will print, we can see hello class A constructor. So we can debug. So how to debug? In our previous chapter I have described very well debug related query and few more concept. So put a breakpoint at this point and then click on start and then press F10 button, F10. Okay, put a breakpoint also here. So it goes to class A, new class A. Again I will press F10. You can see constructor is called. Okay, so constructor is called and it will print a hello A class constructor A on the console screen. Okay, so this constructor is called when I have created an instance of this class. Okay, now this is okay. Now one more thing, when we create an instance of the class, and if we have not defined any constructor, then compiler will automatically create a parameterless default constructor. We are saying that suppose if I comment out this, in this case, now this class doesn't have any constructor, and I have created a instance of this class. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that when we have created a instance of this class, a parameterless constructor, a public parameterless constructor will be automatically created by the compiler. We can see I have commented this out, but still it is not giving an error. So in few seconds we will I will clarify this in few seconds. Okay, so just to hold on. Okay, so when we create an instance of the class, and if we have not defined any constructor, I will, if you have not defined like this way, I have not any define any constructor, we have not defined, then compiler will automatically create a parameterless default constructor. It means that compiler will create this constructor automatically. Okay, not with these keywords, means parameter, this one, this will be created automatically by the compiler. Okay, okay, now okay, now we have few types of constructor, like default constructor, parameterized constructor, copy constructor, static constructor, and finally private constructor. So we will look into this one by one with an example. So first one is default constructor, that we have already seen. This is default constructor. What default constructor? What's the definition? See, this is parameterless constructor. So we having a constructor, and this is parameterless. There is no parameter inside that. Okay, this is parameterless constructor. It means it will not have any parameter. Okay, we doesn't have any parameter inside this. It initialize all numeric field to 0 and all string and object field to null. Okay, if we have any numeric field, then it will initialize to 0 and all string and object field to null. Okay, now this is the default constructor. Default constructor means there is no parameter with public keyword. Okay, and how to call default constructor? When we will create an instance of this class, it will be called, we have seen already. Okay, this is default constructor. Okay, can we have more instance of this class? Okay, so what will happen if I will create another instance of this class? I will create a class A. This time I will give B is equal to new class A, and this time, okay, and this, okay, so we can create, we can see we can create many instances of this class. Okay, so class A is equal to new class A, class B is equal to new class A. So put a breakpoint here. What will happen when I will click on a start button? Okay, it first to come to here, class A, it goes to here, it will print. Okay, then it come to B, again it comes here, and if I will click on, you can see this is the result, what I want to describe, what I wanted to describe. Okay, so we having a class and we having a default constructor, means parameterless constructor with public keyword, and I have created two instances of this class. So when I created two instances of this class, this is calling two types. It means that when we will create 10 instances of this class, it means this constructor will be called 10 times. Okay, okay, so this is our default constructor. Now second is parameterized constructor. Parameterized means this is our default constructor. So default constructor. Okay, now I will create a parameterized constructor. So whenever we will create a constructor, the constructor name must be same as the class name. Okay, so this time I will create a public, this will be again class A. Okay, what will happen if I will try to create same constructor again, so it will give compile time error, because it is saying that we having already a constructor with the same name. So you can see already defined a member called with the same parameter types. Okay, so this time parameterized constructor, a constructor with parameters. Okay, so parameters this time, if I will give, for example, string s, so this is parameterized. No matter how many parameters we have provided, we can also give string c or int a, no matter. Okay, so this is our parameterized constructor. So a constructor with parameter, it can initialize. Okay, now how to call this? We have seen parameterless constructor we can call by the just with an, whenever we create an instance of class, a parameterless constructor will be called. Now we have to call this constructor this time. Okay, parameterless. Okay, just print something here. Okay, and print s, for example. Okay, now to call this constructor again, now we have already created an instance of this class, so again we will create a new instance, because this instance we are using for this, so I am not using that. Class A B is equal to new class A. Okay, now comment out this. Okay, now I have created an instance of this class. Okay, class A, and this time I have given the name B. Okay, so when I will write B, and then when I will write dot, it will show we having two constructors. When I will press dot, when I have pressed dot, then B dot class A. Oh, sorry, not this one. So this time I'm creating an instance of this class. So class B is equal to new class A. When I will give this this bracket, you can see it is expecting two values. Means you can see at first one there is no parameter. It means that if I will leave it as it is, then it will call this constructor we have seen already. Okay, so second one, what it is expecting, just click on this arrow, and at the second time it is expecting there is string type s variable, string type s value. So I will this time provide the value of a string type, so I will give hello. Now this instance of class will call this constructor, because this is parameterless and also there is no parameter side. Now this instance of class will call this constructor because it's having a parameter and also this having a parameter. So when I will click on start, you can see, just click on that, hello is printed. Okay, hello is printed. How hello is printed, we can see just by this one. Just click F10, debug the code. Class B, it's having hello. Okay, put a breakpoint here also, or we can use F10. Okay, we can use F10, F11, sorry, F10, and then click F11. It come to here, and this having a value our hello. This goes to this s variable, and hello is printed. Okay, hello is printed. Now when we create an instance of class, this constructor will be called with parameter. This parameterized constructor we calls. Okay, now there is a copy constructor. Okay, we can see this, we can also comment this one, parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor, this one, constructor. Okay, this is parameterized one. Now third one is copy constructor. This constructor create an object by copying variable from another object. It means that we will call a constructor from another constructor. Okay, the purpose of this constructor is to initialize a new instance to the value of an existing instance. So how to use that? Okay, now create another class. Here I will create, this time I'm not using this class, just create another class, public class, this time class B. Okay, class B. Okay, this time we have class B, and I will create a two variable inside that. Okay, so I will create a private variable. Why private? So that this variable will only accessible inside this class. So I will create a, for example, private, and for example, private string, and then name. Okay, this one more variable, private, and this time, for example, int, I will use age. Okay, we having two variables. Okay, now what I will do, I will create an instance of this class B here, class B. Okay, first create a constructor. Okay, first create a constructor inside this newly classes. So how to create a constructor? Just use public, and then same class name I will copy it and paste here. Okay, and what we are using, copy constructor. Okay, so now we have created our class B, and inside it we have created a constructor, public class B. Okay. Okay, that's fine, no issue. We will create one more constructor inside this, or no issue, we can have only one. Just create another one, and this time I will give a parameter of this, for example, string name and int age. Okay, we have created. Now to call this constructor, we have to create instance of this class, means class B. Okay, so I will create instance of this class. How to create instance? Class B. B is class B. This time I will give okay, no issue. B is equal to, or C is equal to new class B. Okay, it is expecting two because we having two constructor. One is parameterless, you can see, and second one is expecting two parameters. One is string type, and second one is integer type. It is expecting. Okay, so I will give a param. I will pass a here, for example, second one. So it is expecting at second point string name and int age. So I will give a name, for example, hello, and second one is age. So age, for example, 24. So this instance of class will call this constructor. Okay, because we have passed two parameters. First is string type, so this is the string. Second one is integer type, this is integer type. So this is matching. So this constructor will be called this time. Okay, now we have to see copy constructor. Okay, now create another instance of this same class B, and this time D. Okay, now we having two constructor. One is with two parameters, and this time it will also a parameter type constructor. So this time what I will do, I will pass a parameter of the same as class. So class B. Why? We will look into this in few seconds. For example, class B, and I am giving a name, any name we can give, yeah, CB. Okay, so by this instance of class, we will call this constructor. Now we have to call this constructor. Okay, so D is equal to new class B. It will expect two constructor. This is string name int age that we already have provided. The first one is, it is expecting a class B type parameter. Okay, so class B type parameter, and we have already a class B type parameter. Which one? This one. This C is of class B type, so we can pass this class C here. So this is the copy constructor. What we are doing, we are calling this constructor from this constructor. Okay, means we are calling a constructor from a constructor. Okay, now now we have already done, and if I will print here something like print anything CB constructor, and here also like print something B, class B. Okay, so now click on start, and both will be print. Okay, class B has been printed and CBCDR has been printed. How this is printed? Class SB is printed by this one, hello CB. It call to this one, so class B will be printed, and this constructor C will be execute this one, so CBCDR will be printed. Okay, so we are calling a constructor inside a constructor. Okay, copy constructor we have seen. Now we having a static constructor. It does not take access modifier, so we will create another class to better understanding. So public class C this time. Okay, now create a static constructor. So it does, first we will create a constructor. Okay, so public, same class name, public class C, this one. Okay, that's fine. For example, if we are creating a parameterized, okay, we have creating a constructor, and this is parameterized constructor, but we have to create a static constructor. So what's the rule? The first one is, it does not take access modifier. Okay, so I will remove this and mark will as static, because we are creating a static keyword. Okay, so we have removed the access modifier. It does not have any parameters also, so remove this one also. If you will not remove, you can see it is giving the compile time error. A static constructor must be parameterless. Okay, so remove this parameter also. Fine, now error has been gone. Okay, gone. So it does not take any access modifier, does not take any parameters. When a constructor is created as static, it will be invoked only once, no matter how many instances we have created of class. Okay, so in previous cases, in case of parameter, in this case we have seen, if we are creating two instances of this class, then this constructor is calling 2 times. Okay, if we will create 3 instances of this class, this constructor will call 3 times. We have seen. But in case of a static constructor, just print something, a static constructor called. Okay, so it is saying, when a constructor is created as static, it will be invoked only once, no matter how many instances we have created of class. Okay, the first thing. Okay, and it is invoked during the creation of first instance of the class. Okay, so how we can call this? Now how we will call this static constructor? So okay, how to call this? So this will be called whenever we will create an instance of this class. Okay, what will happen if I will run this start? Nothing will be print. Okay, it means that this constructor is not called. Okay, so first create a instance of this class C f is equal to new class C. Now this constructor will be called. Okay, when I will click on this F1, we can see this constructor has been called. So how to call this? Whenever we to call this, we have two ways. Either first we will create an instance of that class, so it will be called. Okay, or the second way is, okay, before that, what will happen if I will create one more instance of this class? Okay, one more instance. In previous case we have seen, if we have two instances of that class, then two times constructor will be called. But what will happen in case of a static constructor? We have seen by definition, when a constructor is created, it will be invoked only once, no matter how many instances we create. It doesn't matter how many instances we have created, it will be called only once. So if I will run this, it will not print two times, it will print only one time. Okay, so if I will click on start, you can see it will print only one time. Okay, no matter how many instances we have created. We have, if I will create 50 times, then still it will be print only one time. Okay, so this is we have seen when a constructor, it will be created only once, no matter how many. Okay, we have created a class and it is invoked during the creation of first instance of the class. Okay, how to invoke means how to call. When we will create an instance of class, it will be invoked. We have seen also. Okay, or there is another second way, or the first reference to a static member in the class. It means that I will comment it out and I will try to call this constructor by another way. So how we can call? If we have any static member means whatever inside in this class, not a static member. What is member means? So whatever inside in this class, all are the member of this class. So it is saying if we have any static members, it means that any method, either we have a static method or so I will create a static variable. So public static int a. Okay, public static int a. Now we have to call this int a. Okay, so class C, I am calling this class C. Okay, how we are able to call this? Because this is a static, so I will call this method class C dot, you can see I can access class A. Okay, class A. Why it is giving error? Because it is expecting a value, so I will provide a 10 value. Okay, now you can see I have not created an instance of this class, I have commented out. Instead of that, I am using a static member. Okay, so this time again this constructor will be called. So by the definition, either we will create instance of that class, or the second way is if there is any static member inside that, we can call this static constructor. So if I will click on start, we can see that will be print. Okay, a static constructor called. This constructor has been called, although we have not created instance of that class. Okay, so or the first reference to a static member in the class, this one. Okay, it cannot access any non-static data member of a class. It can be called directly. It means the user has no control to it. Okay, the user has no control to call it. In case of our default constructor or parameterized constructor, we having a control to call it, but in this case the user have not control. It will be called only once, no matter how many instances of class we have created. Okay, now private constructor. When a private constructor is created, okay, first create a new class to use that private constructor. So I will create another class, public class, and this time class Z. Okay, so create a constructor, public class, the same name as class name. Okay, so we have created a constructor. Okay, no issue, but this time we have to create a private constructor. So instead of this public keyword, we will use private constructor. Okay, that's fine. It can have parameters, no issue. It can have, no issue. It is not giving any error, or parameterless. So use a private keyword. So to create a private constructor, so private class Z constructor has been created. When a private constructor is created, then it is not possible for the other class to derive from this class. Okay, it means that what will so okay, what derived means, we have already seen in our previous chapter inheritance, what's the mean of inheritance and how to use that, and what's the mean of parent and child class, or base or derived class. So for example, I want to inherit this class Z. Okay, first comment out this, and I want to inherit this class Z with class C. So use colon and then give the class name, class Z. Okay, no issue. It is not giving any error. Okay, but when you will create a private constructor, immediately it will give error. So I will uncomment. You can see it will give error. It is showing that it is inaccessible due to its protection level. It means that by the definition of private constructor, when any private constructor is created, then it is not possible to inherit that class. Okay, not possible. So you can see, when a private constructor is created, then it is not possible for other classes to be derived from this class. Okay, neither. Okay, the first thing we have seen, we cannot inherit this class because inside that we have a private constructor. But in case of public or any constructor, we can inherit it. You can see if I will get error has gone. Okay, so in case of private, it cannot inherit, so I will remove this. Also, we cannot create instance of this class, like in case of static constructor, default constructor, parameterized constructor. We have seen we have created instance of that class. But what will happen if I will try to create instance of this class Z this time? Okay, so class Z, for example, Z is equal to new, it will give compile time error. You can see is inaccessible due to its protection level. So whenever a private constructor is created, no other class will inherit that class, first thing, and also we will not be able to create an instance of this class. You can see. Okay, so instance of class neither it is possible to create an instance of this class. Okay, it is usually okay. Now we may think, then what's the use of this? We are not able to create instance of this class, no other class is going to inherit this class. So the main use of this, it is usually used in that classes that contain a static member only. Okay, and this is helpful in singleton design pattern. So what is singleton design pattern? We having various design pattern that we widely used in our real-time project, like this singleton design pattern, publisher subscriber pattern, IOC. So we have various. So in our upcoming videos, not in this C# tutorial video, we will have a separate tutorial video with the name of design patterns. In that video, I will describe design patterns, various design patterns we have, and what's the design pattern, what's the use of that. Okay, so in upcoming videos I will describe. So for now, private constructor is used in singleton design pattern. Okay, now it's look fine. We have seen all the constructor. Okay, now constructor behavior with inheritance. Okay, inheritance. So what is inheritance, how to use that, we have already seen in our previous chapter, in inheritance chapter. Okay, so what is single inheritance, what is multi-level inheritance, what is hierarchical inheritance, multiple and hybrid, we have already seen in our previous chapter. Okay, so to better understanding this, first watch that chapter. Watch that chapter. Okay, so constructor behavior with inheritance. Okay, single inheritance. If we have created single inheritance, means we will have only two class. Though first will be one class will be parent and second class will be children. Okay, so for example, this class is C is inheriting class Z. Okay, class Z, this is inheriting, and make it public so that we could be able to access this. Okay, okay, so inherit that class. It means that this class is child class, or we can say this class is derived class, and right hand side this class is parent class. It means that this class C is child of class Z, or class Z is parent of class C. So single inherited means we will use only two class. One will be parent and second will be child. So in our case, this is our parent and this class is Z is our parent and this class C is our child. Okay. So if we have created an instance of derived class, then base class constructor will be called first. Okay. Now what will happen if I will create instance of this class C, means derived class. Okay, so it is saying if you have created an instance of derived class, so I will create an instance of derived class, means class C. Class C is equal to new class C. Okay, now we can see we having constructor in class Z, and as well as, okay, print something like class Z. Okay, class Z, and inside that static constructor code. Okay, now similarly, if we have created an instance of derived class, so I will create instance of derived class, means here class C is our derived class. So class C, so what will happen, which constructor will be called? Okay, which constructor will be called? Make it also static. Okay, now which constructor will be called? So by the definition, if you have created an instance of derived class, then the execution hierarchy of constructor will be top to bottom. Top to bottom means from parent to child. So if I will run this program, so first this will be called class Z, although we have created an instance of child class, but first base class constructor will be called. So first class Z and then static constructor called. Just click on start class Z. You can see class Z static constructor is called. Okay, so suppose we having one more class, one derived class. In that case also class Z will be called and then the derived class. Okay, so first class Z is called and then static constructor class. Okay, in case of single inheritance we have seen. Now multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance means, for example, we having three class. Okay, we having like three class. Class B also, just remove this one. Okay, now class C is inheriting class Z. Okay, and class B is inheriting class C. Okay, it means that class Z is parent of class C. Okay, and class C is parent of class B. This one, class C is parent of class B, class Z is parent of class C. Now what will happen if I will create instance of this class B this time? Okay, now I create an instance of class B this time. Okay, so just I will this class B. Okay, now I have created instance of class B. Why it is giving error? Class C is equal to new class. Which class? Class B. Where is class B? Okay, due to this parameter, just remove this. Okay, so how will be the execution plan? I have created the instance of this class B. So by the definition, first when we create instance of derived class, then first parent class constructor will be called. So in case of multi-level, if you have created an instance of derived class, then the execution hierarchy of constructor will be top to bottom. Okay, so I have created an instance of class C, this one. Okay, class C, where is class C, where is class, not we have to create an instance of class B, because this is the law. We having how many class? Okay, class B, sorry, yeah, class B, give its name B. Okay, we have created an instance of this class B. So who is the parent of this class? This C, okay, this C. And who is the parent of this class? Z. So first this will be called first. Okay, now again come to parent of class B is class C, this one, and parent of class Z is class C is class Z, so it will be printed. Now parent of class B is class C. Okay, now this time this will be called top to bottom, and lastly this will be called at last. Okay, so if I will give a name for better understanding, 1 2 3, just click on start. 1 2 3, it is giving error. Why it is giving error? You can see error list. Okay, syntax, okay, sorry, this is outside of double quotes. Okay, click on start. We can see 1 2 3, we have created instance of this class B, but first this is executed this one, because the class of B is parent class C and class C parent is class Z, so first it will be executed, means from top to bottom will be execution. Okay, so we have seen multi-level, also hierarchical. If we have created an instance of derived class, then base class constructor will be called. If you have created an instance of base class, then base class constructor will be called. Okay, if you have created an instance of derived class, then base class constructor will be called. In the same way, in case of hierarchical, means if a class, for example, if we having a class Z, and this time instead of this class C we will use class Z. Okay, now Z is the parent of class C and class B, so class C and class B both parent is class Z. Now if I will create, we have already created a class B instance, so how is the execution plan this time? So come to class B we have created, so this is class Z this time. Okay, come to this, this is the parent of this class Z, so this will be created first. Okay, no issue. Again come, then this will not be called. Why this will not be called? Because there is no relation of class C with class B. You can see there is no relation. The parent of class B, we have created an instance of class B, and the relation of class B with class Z, this is the parent of class B, so this will be printed first, and then class B constructor will be called. So first this will be called, and then third will be called, 2 will not be called. So in this case 1 and 3 will be called. You can see 1 and 3, yeah, right, 1 and 3 will be called. Okay, so we have seen also hierarchical. So multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance is in pending, because this is depend upon the interface chapter. So when we will in upcoming videos, I will describe what is inheritance and how to use that. Okay, so we have seen constructor and their usage with inheritance. Now you can subscribe, like or share if you wish. And if you have any query related to constructor, you can ask me at below mail ID fresher2coder@gmail.com, or if you have any code that giving any error and you are not able to resolve that, then you can send me that particular code on this mail ID, and I will resolve and reply on the same mail. Okay, so thank you for watching.